The day after Alex and I made things official, I overheard a conversation at a class reunion that shattered my world. One of his buddies teased, "Damn young Master Fontaine, you really bagged a babe like Luna, huh? You serious this time settling down?" Thinking of how tender he had been the previous night, I secretly felt a bit happy. But then I heard Alex scoff, "Settle down? She's not even worth that. The only one I love is Albina. Luna, she's just something to pass the time." It took everything in me not to storm out of there. I didn't make a scene. I just quietly opened my email and accepted the offer from the UK. Alex's words sent an icy shiver down my spine. Despite the bar being warm and stuffy, I felt like I had just stepped into a freezer. Someone else chimed in, "Man Fontaine, Luna is that gorgeous and she still doesn't cut it for you? I mean, she's the department beauty. Aren't you worried she'll be heartbroken and leave if she finds out?" Alex let out a short laugh. "I'm slumming it by being with her. He should be grateful. With me." "Yeah, right." The guy clearly didn't know what to say, awkwardly chuckling. "True, Luna's pretty, but compared to Albina, not even close." "Shut up." Alex's voice turned sharp. "Leave Albina out of this. Tonight's her welcome party. Say anything dumb when she gets here and I'll make sure you regret it." Then after a pause he sneered, "Luna and I? It's just for fun. She's been chasing after me for years. Last night, well, at least she finally got what she wanted." The room burst into teasing laughter. Man thought she was the conservative type. Guess all Fontaine had to do was crook his finger. Conservative with us maybe, but Fontaine, come on, bet she lets loose in bed, huh? The whole room erupted into crude snickers. My hands clenched into fists, nails digging painfully into my palms. The love I believed in was just a joke for him to brag about. Tears welled up and fell one after the other. "Miss, are you going in?" a bar staff member asked. I snapped back to reality, ignoring her questioning look. I turned and fled outside. I hailed the first cab I saw as I silently wept in the back seat. My phone kept buzzing like crazy. That sound, I had set it as Alex's special ringtone. I shouldn't have, but I opened his chat. "Last night was rushed, forgot protection, get yourself some meds. Got a business meeting today, won't be home tonight." I stared at the screen, rereading those messages over and over as my tears dripped onto the phone. Last night when he held me so close, whispering against my skin, I truly believed he loved me. In that moment he swore he'd always cherish me, protect me. He said it wasn't right making my first time happen like that. He told me I was still young with a whole life ahead of me, that I shouldn't be tied down with a kid. Back then I thought he actually cared about me. But every word, those sweet loving promises, nothing but a lie. He just didn't want me to have his child, afraid it would stand in the way of him getting back together with his so-called true love. And yet, I had actually been naive enough to believe that all these years of devotion would finally mean something. Just then my phone buzzed again. It was a Weibo notification. An unfamiliar account had followed me, a brand new account with only one post, a photo. My eyelashes trembled as I stared at the screen, my heart feeling like it had been pierced by 1,000 needles, the pain sharp and spreading in waves. Under dim, intimate lighting, Alex had his arms around a woman, slim, curvy, dressed in barely anything. Their lips were locked, completely lost in each other. The look in their eyes, if that wasn't passion, I didn't know what was. I had known about Alex's true love for a long time, but that woman, Albina, had been married and gone. When he finally agreed to be with me, I thought time had erased her place in his heart. I was so wrong. I had underestimated what they had. Somehow I found myself back in the apartment, sitting motionless in the dark. Time blurred, and before I knew it, my phone chimed again. An email, an offer from Warwick University. When I first started college, my family had already mapped out my future. I was supposed to go to the UK for grad school, but by junior year, Alex had responded to my feelings. He told me he didn't want to be apart from me, and I, fool that I was, promised him I would turn down the opportunity. That promise led to a huge fight with my parents. Studying abroad right after graduation was something we had planned together. I had worked my ass off, grades, English, everything, just to make sure I could go. They didn't want me throwing away my future for a guy, but I was stubborn. I dug my heels in, and in the end they compromised. After all, Alex and I had known each other since we were kids. He wasn't a complete stranger. Over time their skepticism softened. They even started inviting him over for family dinners, treating him like he belonged there. Everyone around us assumed we'd get married one day. Well, guess what? They were all about to be disappointed. I could chase after Alex, blind to reality. I could accept that he had loved someone before me. But what I couldn't accept was my love being treated like a joke, my dignity being stepped on. That I refused to endure. Without a second thought, I hit accept on the offer. Late into the night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling wide awake. No matter how hard I tried, the only thing I could see when I closed my eyes was that damn photo. Sleep was impossible, so I got up and started packing. This apartment, Alex had rented it the day after we got together. He had me move out of the dorms. Now that I'd made my decision, there was no reason to stay. I only packed my own things. Any he had given me, any decoration we had picked out together, I left behind. By the time I finished, dawn had begun to break. I paused and glanced around. Every inch of this place, this tiny little home, had once been my vision of a future with him, a future I'd dreamed of. Too bad dreams don't always come true. Just as I was about to leave, the door suddenly swung open from the outside. I froze, my grip tightening around the handle of my suitcase. Alex stepped inside, the stench of alcohol clinging to him, a satisfied look on his face. Then his eyes landed on me, and in that instant something in his expression shifted. Caught. Why are you up so early? He adjusted his expression, acting as if nothing was different, then pulled me into his arms just like always. The moment he got close, the strong mix of alcohol and an overly sweet woman's perfume hit me straight in the face. My stomach churned. I instinctively tried to push him away, but he only tightened his grip. Come on, don't fuss, just let me rest for a bit. Luna, where's my honey water? His breath, laced with alcohol, brushed against my neck as he murmured in a low, raspy voice. You used to make it for me whenever I drank too much. While speaking, he ruffled my hair lightly. That sickeningly sweet perfume only got stronger. My patience was gone. I shoved him away hard this time. What was this supposed to be? Messing around with Albina, then turning around and coming back to me? He was already drunk, completely unguarded around me, so pushing him off wasn't difficult. What's wrong now? Getting angry again? He rubbed his temple, his eyes a shade clearer than before. Just because I didn't come back last night? He chuckled under his breath, pinching my cheek. We're not even married yet and you're already keeping tabs on me like this. What are you going to do when we actually are? I grabbed the handle of my suitcase and took a step back. Alex, I'm leaving. He finally noticed the suitcase beside me, but instead of reacting seriously, he smirked. Really? You're that mad? Come on, don't be ridiculous. I drank way too much last night, I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy to coax you right now. Oh, by the way, you've been taking your pills, right? Long-term contraceptives only work if you take them daily. Don't forget. With that, he leaned in again. I stared at him coldly, my hand blocking the space between us. Too much to drink, or were you just celebrating because she came back? He froze, the smile slipping from his face. Who told you that? I turned away, refusing to answer. That indifference clearly struck a nerve. Sighing in frustration, he rubbed his brows again, sounding both tired and impatient. She just got divorced. She's in a bad place. We were just a few old friends keeping her company. What's the big deal? Do you always have to overthink everything? I didn't respond. I just gripped my suitcase tighter and moved forward. Then suddenly he grabbed my wrist. Luna, there's a limit to how much nonsense I'll put up with. I am not making a scene. My temper flared. His voice dropped lower, his dark eyes turning ice cold. My patience has its limits. I've already been nice about this. Don't push your luck. Did you forget you're the one who chased me, begged me to be with you? I only agreed after you kept coming after me. There was something mocking in his tone. I stared at him and suddenly my nose tingled. I clenched my fist, digging my nails into my palm to stop myself from crying in front of him. So this was how he really saw me. Someone convenient, always available when needed, easily replaceable. When I didn't respond, he assumed I'd calmed down. His expression softened a little and so did his voice. I'm really too tired to deal with this right now. Let's talk about it later. You're always this sensitive. If you leave me, who else would even put up with you? Before I could react, his phone rang, cutting through the heavy silence. He glanced at the caller ID, his expression stiffening for just a second. Without another word, he answered it while walking farther inside. A soft, sweet voice rang out from the other end. Alex, thanks for the welcome dinner. Alex's voice was gentle, full of patience as he spoke to Albina. The air between them was dripping with unspoken affection. I didn't hesitate. I opened the door, grabbed my suitcase and left. Sitting in the car, I pulled out my phone and opened Weibo. A new post popped up on that account. Albina was wearing a black spaghetti strap dress, her hand resting on her collarbone. On her finger, a square-cut pink diamond ring caught the light. Caption: thanks to the handsome guy for the dinner. The ring is beautiful too. My nose stung and before I could stop myself, tears slipped down my cheeks. I remembered that ring. Back when Alex and I had just gotten together, I'd seen it in his car. I'd been so excited, so nervous, thinking he was going to propose. Turns out I was just deluding myself. That ring was never meant for me. Dragging my suitcase into the dorm room, I barely said a word. My roommates looked shocked, but they didn't ask questions. Instead, they immediately started helping me unpack, setting up my bed and putting my stuff away. The heaviness in my chest eased just a little. After moving out of the apartment, I made a point not to check anything about Alex. I blocked him from my feed, deleted all our old photos. Alex didn't reach out either, not even once in the next few days. Not surprising. Albina was back, single again. He had his shot now. He was probably busy playing the perfect gentleman by her side, waiting for his moment to make it official. Besides, Alex had always been that kind of person, Fontaine family's only heir born at top. And I had spent so many years spoiling him, making him feel untouchable. Every time we argued, I was one who caved first. This time he probably assumed I'd come crawling back like always. I was tired. With no classes in my final year yet, my roommate started planning grad trip. Fiona, one I was closest to, knew I wasn't in best mood and invited me along. I said yes. If I was going to turn page, might as well start with this trip. I made list, stuff to do over next few months. First, travel to Yunnan with my roommates for a month, then come back, sort out my visa, prep for my thesis defense. After that, head home to spend time with my parents, wait for school to start, then new life. Life without Alex. When my mom found out I was going on trip with my friends, she sounded surprised. Thought you'd be going with your boyfriend? What did you two fight? I froze, surprised by how sharp she was. But with graduation so close, I didn't want to worry her. I brushed it off with some random excuse. She sent me money for trip, reminding me to enjoy this time with my friends. Boyfriends are important, sure, but friends matter too. Don't make everything about Alex. My heart clenched. I swallowed down lump in my throat. Got it, thanks, Mom. At airport, I dragged my suitcase behind me as my friends and I found our way to check-in counters. Watching waves of people passing through terminal, it finally hit me. I was really leaving Alex behind. But life has a way of messing with you, because as I turned, my gaze landed on someone I never expected to see here. Alex. He was holding woman's handbag, soft pink scarf wrapped around its strap. Alex never used to carry my bag. He always said that as man, carrying woman's purse was just too feminine for him. Albina had her arms wrapped around his, giggling and playfully tugging at his tie like little girl. She was messing around and he was laughing just like real couple. Back when we were together, he rarely showed this side of himself. He used to tell me he didn't like girls who were too loud, so I kept dialing myself down. Whether we were alone or out with his friends, I always made sure to play role of quiet, gentle girlfriend. Turns out, when someone really matters to him, he's fine with little noise. I stared at them, feeling stupid for ever trying so hard. Alex and Albina walked into VIP lounge. Not long after, Alex stepped out alone. He pulled out his phone and made call. Whoever he was calling didn't pick up, and his face immediately darkened. Then he angrily started tapping away at his screen. My phone vibrated few times. You blocked me? Wow, Luna, few days apart and you've really stepped up your game. Better leave me on your blocked list forever and see if you regret it in end. I looked at screen, words typing flashed at top. Without hesitation, I tapped few times and blocked him on WeChat too. Alex was pissed. Someone accidentally bumped into him and I could literally see his face turn red. He even started arguing with Guy. Old Alex, proud heir of Fontaine family, would never lose his composure like that over something trivial. I watched as he stormed back toward VIP lounge. Just before stepping inside, he paused, wiped anger off his face and only then walked in. We had nothing to do with each other anymore. Who he was with, how he treated them, it wasn't my concern. I forced my gaze away, pushed down tight feeling in my chest and joined in on my roommate's conversation. At start of trip. I was mess, drowning in my emotions. My roommates never cried, but they could tell something was up. They tried everything to keep me distracted, never letting me be alone. Soon enough, new scenery and new people pulled me in, and thoughts of Alex slipped further and further away. Albina's social media account was still active. It was like she was going out of her way to prove point. Every post was carefully curated. They had gone to Japan, Tokyo Tower, prayers at shrine, cuddling at fireworks festival. Each post was slideshow, mostly group photos, but if you watched till end, there was always shot of two of them locked in some intimate, knowing glance. Honestly, she didn't have to try this hard. Her point was already made with very first post. I would never take back someone who wasn't loyal. Getting back with Alex was off table. Our mutual friends had no idea Albina created that account just to rub everything in my face. They kept pretending Alex was just trying to clear his head, expecting me to believe it. I ignored them all and blocked anyone who tried to convince me otherwise. Saying I wasn't hurt at all would be lie. After all, Alex had lived in my heart for years. I used to think foolishly that I had place in his heart. But seeing those intimate photos still made my chest tighten with sourness. I couldn't help but stare blankly into distance, lost in thought. Luckily, Fiona and my other roommates were always quick to notice when something was off. Whenever I seemed down, they always showed up at just right moment, pulling me out of my spiral of sadness. On hardest days when I couldn't hold it in anymore, I'd hide in bathroom and cry. Then I'd tell myself, feeling sad is normal, crying is normal, but that doesn't mean I can't live without him. It's just withdrawal, that's all. I went whole month without contacting Alex. Yeah, it hurt little, but I had to admit not having to tiptoe around his moods, overanalyze his preferences, or hold back my own emotions felt liberating. It was a good start. Everything would be fine. Just as I was obsessively snapping photos of flower-covered riverbank, my phone rang. It was Alex's mother. But when I answered, it wasn't Madame Fontaine's voice. It was Alex's. I really underestimated you. You actually managed to go this long without reaching out to me. Out there having fun, huh? Already forgot about your responsibilities? Senior year isn't for playing around, you know. No internship, no job. Don't come begging me when you can't even pass interview. I blinked, momentarily confused. Then it hit me, oh right. I had promised him before that I wouldn't go abroad, that I'd graduate and work for his company instead. But that was before. Now if he cared so much about some interview he could figure it out himself. Luna, hurry up, take my picture, one of my roommates called, striking pose. Snapped out of my daze, I hung up without second thought. After night of street food and laughter, we finally stumbled back to hotel. It was almost 10 p.m. when four of us collapsed onto large bed. Just as I was drifting off, my phone buzzed again. Not wanting to wake others, I stepped onto balcony before answering. My dear Sheen, when are you coming home? I miss you. I overheard your last call with Alex. You know how he is, he doesn't know how to express himself, but he cares about you, he really does. Don't hold it against him, okay? Block him if you need to, but maybe unblock him once you've cooled down. Alex had always been distant with me, but elders in Fontaine family had treated me well. Madame Fontaine in particular, doted on me like daughter she never had. My roommates liked to joke that she was my and Alex's strongest supporter. But whatever happened between me and Alex, it wasn't fair to drag others into it. I sighed softly. I understand, Auntie. Glad to hear that, she chuckled. Then, as if remembering something, she added, oh, and don't listen to that brat. If you want to work for company, you don't even need interview. His father can handle it. Before I could respond, I heard Alex's irritated voice in background. Mom, why are you being so nice to her? If she realizes her mistake, she'll come back on her own. Madame Fontaine sighed, muttered something like brat under her breath, and returned to our conversation with apologetic laugh. I simply hummed in response. Maybe she picked up on my indifference because she added, if you think being Alex's secretary is too exhausting, I can arrange more relaxed position for you instead. She said gently, being daughter-in-law in our family shouldn't be this exhausting. I responded with polite, Auntie, let's talk about it another time. I just hope you and Uncle stay in good health. Without another word, I hung up. Standing on balcony, I let night breeze clear my thoughts before heading back inside. By time I returned to room, my roommates were already asleep. I opened my chat with Mom, planning to finally tell her about my decision to study abroad. But after thinking it over, I decided it would be better to tell them in person after coming back from Yunnan. I didn't return to school right away. Instead, I went home first. They still didn't know I'd changed my decision again. It wasn't until after dinner that I finally told them I'd accepted offer. Dad was silent for a long moment before saying just 2 words, ridiculous. Mom didn't look pleased either. She just asked, "Did Alex do something to you?" I shook my head, not wanting them to worry. "If he dares to mess with you, I'll beat him up myself. How dare he treat my daughter like that?" Dad's temper flared instantly. "Stop it," Mom lightly smacked his shoulder. Luna said, "It's nothing. Studying abroad is great opportunity. It'd be shame to give up something you've worked so hard for just because of Guy." That night, Mom came into my room. She walked over and sat on edge of my bed just like she used to. Her eyes were warm as she looked at me. "Luna, did you and Alex have fight?" Forcing smile, I nodded. "Something like that, but it's over now." Surprisingly, she didn't blame me. Instead, she gently patted my back. "I'm not trying to speak for Alex," she said softly. "It's just you used to like him so much. Back in high school, you brought him breakfast every day. You didn't even know how to cook, but you learned just to make him eggs. And even this university you chose. It because he was coming here too. Couples fight all time. It happens. If it's nothing serious, maybe you should think it through carefully." My eyes stung and I couldn't hold it in any longer. My voice came out in choked whisper. "Mom, he doesn't love me. He loves someone else. I don't want to like him anymore. I just want to stay far away from him. I don't ever want to see him again." My mom pulled me into a hug, her voice filled with warmth. "All right, sweetheart. Then we won't see him again. My daughter is so beautiful. He'll regret this someday." Neither of them scolded me for changing my mind again. They just reminded me not to be too sad over it. I went back to school. Scrolling through Albina's posts, I saw that she and Alex were practically glued to each other every day. It was like he had completely erased me from his life. But then on graduation photo day he showed up. Alex stepped out of his car in perfectly tailored dark suit, holding bouquet of soft blue hydrangeas. His long strides made him stand out in crowd. I had to admit he had planned this whole thing perfectly. For a split second I almost wavered. That is until I saw Albina sitting comfortably in his passenger seat. He walked up to me acting like nothing had happened and handed me flowers. "Luna, congratulations on graduating." I turned my gaze past him, looking at Albina, who was still sitting lazily in car. Alex looked uneasy but still forced out explanation. Albina wasn't feeling well and I was on way to hospital nearby, so I gave her ride. I smiled faintly. "You don't have to explain anything to me. We don't have anything to do with each other anymore." His smile froze in place. "Luna, you're really serious about this? Did you think I was joking?" I pulled out my phone and opened a picture of him and Albina looking all cozy together. At this point he still thought he could fool me. "That was just game," Alex said, looking visibly uneasy. "Little party game with piece of paper at bar, nothing more." When it got to her, there was barely anything left of it. It was totally normal for our lips to touch. As he spoke, he reached out to grab my hand, but I wasn't about to give him chance. Just then Albina stepped out of car. Her lips were pale and honestly she did look little unwell. "You must be Luna," she said with weak smile. "Alex and I have known each other since we were kids. We're just good friends. Everyone knows that." "Good friends." Fiona's voice came from beside me. I hadn't even noticed when she got there. "Wow, that's new. Friends who kiss each other on lips. That's one heck of friendship." Albina flinched slightly, her already pale face becoming even more fragile looking. Alex shot her worried glance, his expression turning colder. Noticing people gathering around, he lowered his voice. "Don't go off on Albina. She's still recovering. We'll talk about this later." "What's there to talk about? I've told you so many times we're done." I didn't bother with him anymore. Grabbing Fiona's hand, I turned to leave. Panicking, Alex took a step forward as if to stop me, but just then Albina let out a soft cry of pain. He hesitated. Watching them, I suddenly found whole scene ridiculously pathetic. Alex struggled for a few seconds before finally saying, "I'll explain everything later." Then, looking visibly distressed, he picked Albina up and carried her back to car. After cutting things off with Alex, I didn't feel particularly sad. Fiona, however, was worried sick. She stuck by my side, probably scared I'd do something reckless. I had to reassure her multiple times that I was fine before she finally started to relax. I couldn't really blame her for overreacting. She'd witnessed firsthand crazy lengths I went to for Alex before. Once everything was said and done, I deleted Fontaine Mom's contact info, effectively severing all ties with Alex. Since school hadn't started yet, Fiona dragged me around to just have fun. By end of July, Fontaine family sent invitation to my parents, asking us to attend Grandma Fontaine's birthday party. She was elder and there was no polite way to decline. By time I arrived, party was already in full swing. Bar area was packed with younger guests, and second I stepped closer, all eyes turned to me with barely concealed intrigue. I glanced up and immediately spotted Alex, dressed sharply in suit, standing beside Albina as they welcomed guests. It all became clear. Last year at Grandma Fontaine's birthday, I had been one standing next to Alex greeting guests. Back then, everyone just assumed we'd eventually get married. Now that someone else had taken my place, of course people were eager to gossip. Sensing my stare, Alex turned toward me, his brows immediately furrowing. Albina took opportunity to loop her arm around his, flashing me sweet smile, one that didn't reach her eyes, like she was eager to prove how magnanimous she was. She walked over with Alex, fully aware of watchful eyes around us. "Luna, long time no see." Her tone was warm, friendly even, but there was pointed sharpness underneath. "I heard you helped on Lot before. Let me thank you on his behalf." She was so composed that if I reacted badly I'd just look petty. So I simply smiled back in response. Alex looked at me as if he had something to say. After long pause he finally muttered, "Why thank her? She's been clinging to me all these years." My smile faded slightly. I spoke softly, "Not anymore." Alex's expression froze. I didn't waste any more time. Turning around I prepared to leave. But before I could take step, firm grip closed around my wrist. I turned back, locking eyes with Alex, who looked just as surprised as I was, like he didn't even know why he did that. Albina's smile finally cracked. Her fingers, adorned with pink diamond ring, tightened around Alex's arm, pulling him closer. Atmosphere instantly became awkward. People around us started whispering excitedly, low voices filled with gossip. Albina gave Alex's arm tug, snapping him back to reality. He hesitated for a second before finally releasing me. I didn't stick around. Lifting my dress slightly, I hurried off and found refuge at outdoor bar. I thought I'd finally get moment of peace, but I barely had time to breathe before Alex's voice reached my ears. He was surrounded by few of his usual party friends. "Dude, what was that? Weren't you supposed to be serious about Albina, and here you are grabbing Luna like that?" Alex dropped his head. I don't know, it just happened." One of them sighed. "Man, you're something else. When she was all over you, you thought she was pain. Now that she's actually gone, you're not okay with it." "She won't leave," Alex said confidently. "She likes me too much. Every time she said we were done, she always came crawling back. This time won't be any different." "So, are you planning to dump Albina?" Alex stayed silent. His friends patted his shoulder and laughed. "Listen man, you can't have it both ways. That's just greedy." Alex ran hand through his hair, frustrated. "Why not? I can't get over it. Albina had another man before me, so why hell should I only have her?" "Loony." Alex had nothing to say. His friends exchanged amused looks but didn't push further. I took a sip of my bright-colored cocktail, watching them walk away. Without his good looks, Alex was no different from other spoiled rich kids. I must have been blind before. Wind was strong outside, so I didn't stay long before heading back in. Alex was still busy entertaining guests beside Albina, but his expression didn't quite match part. His mind was clearly elsewhere. Fontaine's mother spotted me and immediately brightened. She pushed through crowd to reach me. "Luna, when did you get here? Grandma has been missing you so much. I've been looking for you everywhere. Mom and Dad have already gone to congratulate her. I figured I didn't need to." She paused for a moment. "I see. And Alex, why aren't you with him?" I didn't answer. Instead my eyes flickered toward Alex and Albina not far behind her. "Auntie," I finally said, "Alex and I?" But Fontaine's mother followed my gaze and her expression darkened instantly. Cutting me off, she snapped, "What is she doing here?" She glared at Albina with distinct coldness. Everyone knew she never liked Albina. Back when Albina and Alex first got together, she interfered in every way possible to make sure Albina never made it into Fontaine family. And later, part of reason she was so warm to me was because of Albina. She was afraid that Alex and Albina would rekindle their old flame, so she wanted to use me to keep Alex tied down. Now that she saw Albina here, her mood was obvious. Before I could react, she grabbed my arm and dragged me straight toward Alex and Albina. There was no stopping her. Alex looked surprised while Albina clung tightly to his arm, her expression cautious. "Auntie, don't call me that. Alex, it's your grandmother's birthday. Why did you bring someone so improper?" Albina's face stiffened in embarrassment. She shot Alex a pleading look. Alex, realizing situation, gave me mocking glance. "Wow, and here I thought you'd be able to hold back, but nope, you couldn't even last this long. Now you're running to my mom to complain? Me? What ridiculous accusation." Albina took so. "You stopped this response.